Hey there gang, your Guitar Sage here with a lesson today on some real basic guitar stuff, some real basic guitar knowledge, but very important nonetheless. I had one of my subscribers recently ask me to do a video on posture, proper way to hold the pick, proper way to hold your hands, whole 9 yards. Okay, so let's go over that. If you've been playing for more than a few months, this video is probably not for you. If you just got a guitar and you're looking to learn the proper way to hold your guitar and all that good stuff, then keep watching. Okay, so let's talk about a few things. The way I'm holding my guitar right now is kind of a traditional way that somebody would hold their guitar. We've got our leg here, arm, and chest that's holding the guitar in place, but for the most part it's still a little bit flimsy. I kind of have to hug the guitar here to keep it in place. And what happens a lot of times is, especially with new players, new students, is they don't know, they're leaning on the guitar and doing this sort of thing, and what happens is the guitar ends up doing this, okay? So what happens when you grab the neck, of course, is you start compensating. You start pulling it towards you, you start grabbing it like this, your thumb starts coming around the top of the neck, and all that stuff kind of degrades your playing ability. So you'll see other people hold their guitar like this. Okay, looks a little goofy. This is the actual classical way to hold your guitar, and in classical school this is the way you have to hold your guitar. It would be thought of as being low class to hold your guitar like this, which is what we all do. So sometimes I'll hold my guitar like this in the studio when I'm playing, when I'm laying down an acoustic part. I always hold my guitar like this, unless it's some part that doesn't have to be as, I don't know, something that maybe doesn't take quite the execution that I might need in the studio. Maybe I don't know, I'm rambling. But when I'm in the studio and I'm playing acoustic guitar, I'm always like this. And in fact, sometimes I will use this. This is called a footstool, and it's made specifically for propping your left leg up, your fretting hand leg. So I would put this under my left foot, and then it would allow me to prop my leg up, and the guitar's kind of at this diagonal level here. Okay, so what this allows me to do is it allows me, I've got the guitar here, it's not going anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere. So in that case, I can really grab the chords the way that I want to grab them. Now, for most people at first, that's a little uncomfortable. If I'm not using the stand, then it's going to be down here a little bit. So that's going to help out a lot. But let's say that way is not comfortable for you, and you're doing kind of a traditional posture here. If you're doing that, what I want you to be mindful of is that the neck's not getting away from you. It's not doing this sort of thing, when you're playing. That's the only thing. And one way to do that is make sure you're sitting straight up. You got the small of your back straight, and then this way you're not kind of slouching over your guitar and pushing it out. Okay, I've seen that a lot, especially with younger players, like anywhere from like 5 to 7, around that age. Because kids are so small, they're slouching and that sort of thing. So you don't want to do that. Alright, so as far as posture, just sit up straight, and let's talk about hand positioning for a minute. Or let's talk about the pick for a minute. You'll see people hold the pick like this between the thumb and first finger. You'll see some people hold the pick like this between the middle finger and thumb. And you'll see some people hold it like that. They're all useful. I almost always hold my pick like this between my first finger and my thumb. you'll see some people even hold their pick like this. Personally, I don't think this is good because it doesn't give you finesse when you need it. It's just you're in chop through the strings mode. Okay, so it's going to be kind of obnoxious. When I'm playing like this, I can do loud if I want, or I can do soft, and I'm not really doing anything different with my right hand as far as how I'm strumming, but I'm lightening up on the pick here. So what happens is if you really grip the pick hard, you're going to get a louder strum, and if you go lighter, holding it flimsier, you're going to get a lighter strum. Now, of course, the problem with holding that pick lightly is it'll slip out of your hands sometimes. Okay, so I would suggest this is a Jim Dunlop pick. Planet Waves makes some good picks as well, but get a nylon pick. So the Fender thin picks are great, except they're not nylon and they split. So I love the way they feel, but they split real easily. So get yourself a nylon pick. Tortex, I think it's made by Jim Dunlop, makes them, and then Planet Waves, and get a thinner type pick if you're going to be playing acoustic guitar, so you can get some nice tones out of the guitar. Okay, so that's as far as your picking hand. That's what I want you to do there. Now your left hand. You'll see me wrap my hand around the guitar like this a lot. I'm a seasoned player. I mean, I've been playing for about 25 years, so it's like I can do this. It's basically breaking some rules, but if you learn when you can break the rules and when you can't, it changes everything. So, as a new guitar player, I would encourage you to not bring your thumb up here unless you're purposefully muting that string. Unless you purposely have a need to come up here and do that, don't rest your thumb up here, okay? Now the caveat to that is, the exception, is if it's not impeding the chord, okay? So if it's not impeding the chord that you have your thumb up there, then go for it, okay? Otherwise, here's the key. This really is the secret to playing your open chords correctly. Okay, I say it's a secret. Some people will tell you dropping your shoulder, bringing your hand out front, you know, tucking your elbow in, that's going to put you in the position you need to play your chords correctly. Remember, when we play chords, we don't want the pads of our fingers to start laying over on the strings, because then if we're going to play a C chord, we're going to get, you know, we got notes that aren't sounding there, along with a guitar that's out of tune. But we've got 2 or 3 notes there that aren't sounding because the pads of my fingers are touching the chords, or touching the strings. So here's the deal. What you want to do is get as much curl to this last knuckle as possible. Okay? I mean, you want to exaggerate it. Okay? So when I'm playing, if I've got curl to this last knuckle here, I'm rocking. Okay? I'm not going to be touching any of the strings. But as soon as I start doing this, I start laying these fingers down, even just a little bit, I've got mutes. I got major mutation going on here. Alright, so keep this curled. Keep these ends curled like that. Bam. It's going to make all your chords sound a lot clearer. Okay? If you've gotten through this part of the video already, you're definitely a new player, which is good. Let me encourage you. Every great guitar player has had to go through this same gauntlet of playing chords and playing scales and the whole 9 yards. Everything that you're going to be learning here is going to seem like a task. You're going to think, I'm not cut out for this, I'm not good enough, all these things. Totally false, totally not true, so don't even entertain the thought. Any great guitar players had to go through this same gauntlet of exercises, chords, learning the music theory, playing songs, just the whole 9 yards, okay? So be encouraged. If you're having a hard time doing any of these exercises or learning any of these songs, be encouraged that you're learning something that that's worthwhile, okay? It's not something that anybody can just pick up and do. It's going to take someone who's diligent and someone who's driven. That's what it takes to play an instrument well. There is a small amount of talent that I see. I've got students that come in all the time, and there's a small amount of talent. Sometimes a particular student may have a great ear, meaning they can hear things that other students may not hear right off the top of their head. There's other students that they have great motor skills, so they're able to play scales and chords and stuff like that pretty quickly, but maybe their ear's not so good. Then I have other students who are just completely tenacious and just practice their instrument all the time. And the list goes on and on about the different talents that we have. So if you can hone in on what your talent is, then that's a good thing to know, but it's almost superfluous. We don't, you know, if you have a great ear, great, you got a great ear. You still need to practice other stuff, okay? So wherever your weakness is, practice that a bunch and know what your strength is, okay? If you've seen any of my guitar videos, since I've been playing so long as a player, you're not as impressed with yourself anymore as you were in the beginning. And you'll find this as a new player, is you'll be very impressed with the new areas that you get to, playing new songs and what have you. Well, in the same way as you're growing as a musician, you're growing as a person too, and sometimes you don't impress yourself as much anymore. Well, in my guitar videos, if there's anything there that that you say, wow, that's great, or wow, he must be very talented, or he was born with all this talent, it's not like that. It's like it's really a bunch of work, but it's fun at the same time. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say the talent that I was born with is probably like a 4 or 5, something like that. It's not. I don't have a ton of talent that I feel I was born with, but I have a lot of tenacity, and I love music, so I practice my butt off, and you'll find that with most players, that anybody who's worth their weight and knows how to play is just because they've logged a lot of hours in on the instrument. So all that to say, and I'm going to wrap it up here, I'm getting a little long-winded. Keep practicing and be encouraged. You can do anything that you set your mind to, as long as you follow the steps to get there and be wise and give it time, you know. So anyhow, check out yourguitarsage.com. I've got an ebook on there, and we'll have some more lessons on there shortly, dexterity exercises and that sort of thing. But if you don't know how to read charts, play chords, do strumming exercises, or know how to strum, check out some of my other videos, and then also check out the ebook. There is a wealth of knowledge in there, and it's basically condensed into about a 26-page PDF that will allow you to explore all these techniques that I talk about in a real concise, refined way. So anyhow, keep practicing. Check out the videos. I should be putting a few up every week. Trying to do it every day, and keep practicing.